But sure, let's listen to Pete Hegseth slur it out.
Other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other, the bravery
for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the President said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has.
Why are they so quiet?
American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men, and I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the President said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026, and under President Trump, America is back.
Jesus fucking
I'd like to welcome
Christ.
now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation.
Remembering what I said yesterday about how 60 years ago, literally any politician or newsman could lap the ones from today. Everyone is so much fucking stupid. Can you imagine, like, reading this in the history books? Oh, yeah, here's a transcript of Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's speech after the seizure of President Maduro. They effed around and they found out. Like, it's a fucking joke, you know? It's like written by and for 8th graders.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice 2 indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd, and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again.
Okay.
Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists. And we could not have done this
What's happening? Did we steal a president?
The incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose: to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint.
It's cool how he's talking about this like he pulled off a sick fucking baking recipe or something. Like I understand that he's just the brass, right? Like he's not in charge of strategic decision making, but it's literally just like, we did such a good job with the war crime. We did such a great job with it, you know? Hey everyone. Look at how good we did it. Look, we destroyed rules-based international order so effectively. Do you think they notified allies? Fuck no. Dog, they didn't even notify Congress. After we started randomly killing civilians off the coast of Venezuela, other like allied nations dropped sharing intel data with us. They don't want that smoke. They don't want to be involved with us.
Justice. And as the president said, urgency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s.
It was Russia that destroyed rules-based international order? Nope. Because listen, the law is not destroyed when the criminal breaks it, okay? The law is destroyed when the policeman breaks it. America was the pillar of the post-Cold War rules-based international order. We were the ones repping it. The UN was our institution. We were the ones pushing for it. Nobody was looking to Russia for the the legitimacy of the rules-based international order. The invasion of Ukraine was pretty shocking, but it didn't like challenge people's priors about Putin. This though,
where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element.
But Iraq was blatant? Not as blatant as this, man. Like, the Iraq War was something... The United States pushed for the Iraq War for a year, lied extensively to the people and to the United Nations. We got a coalition to go there. Like, the Iraq War... we were not the only nation to invade Iraq. We just unilaterally kidnapped Maduro, you know? This is fucking insane. The lack of pretense is what's shocking, exactly.
Force while apprehending the indicted
Even
persons.
Russia made up a pretense.
On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was...
I can't listen to this fucking guy. Are you fucking kidding me, dog? Our attack helicopters had no choice but to vaporize the Venezuelan military installation in self-defense. Didn't Trump start this war because Rubio convinced him Maduro helped rig the 2020 election? That's probably part of it, but Trump wanted to do this back in his first term, too. Remember Guaido? This shit fucking sucks, man. Oh my god. IDF pretense. Yeah, where's that bit of Maria fucking saying she'll move the capital to Tel Aviv. Oh, I'll find it. Not the capital, the embassy.
In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong.
Okay.
Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world.
That's great.
I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here today. There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them and support them. As we stand here this morning, our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness.
I found it. Here's the lady we're ostensibly replacing Maduro with.
I would like to thank Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of the State of Israel.
I promise we one day will have a close relationship between Venezuela and Israel.
I myself look forward to visit the State of Israel as soon as we conquer freedom. We will prevail.
And I can announce this, that our government will move our Israeli embassy to Jerusalem.
God, that's so fucking evil, man.
Prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the region. This
now,
it's insane. Is she?
Points.
Oh, here we go. Is she Israeli or Venezuelan? All evil people are Israeli in their hearts.
And peace and stability. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude.
Israel is a demon
to the brave
country made up of
men
the
and
worst
women
elements
who
of the United
executed
States.
this
It
mission.
unites all evil
Their
people.
courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas
He is
Maduro was
bricked
indicted
up right
in
now.
2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice.
It's not just us saying it. It's also other U.S. presidents saying it. Also, the European Union and economic trading bloc doesn't recognize him, and some other countries.
With a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million.
Plus, he's wanted for crimes from us. And there's a bounty on his head that we put there. The whole world wants him arrested, basically.
And
We should make sure.
yeah, exactly. But
Don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games.
See, Marco Rubio is spiritually a neocon, so he's still doing the thing where he pretends this is justified, which is why he looked kind of off when Trump just said 3 times in a row, this is for oil, and also we control Venezuela now. He's like, we're really concerned about like law, and also he was a bad leader, and this like needed to happen. And Trump's like, nah.
This time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, you know, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba?
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Oh. Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars.
Immediately, just no prompting from the journalist. Immediately, the oil infrastructure. Like, fuck, man. Everyone knew Iraq was at least in part about oil, but they didn't talk about oil nearly as much as he is. Holy shit, just no fucking prompting.
It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid.
What?
And
we're subsidizing them? We're going to pay ExxonMobil? Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, we talked to the leaders of all the oil companies, and they said they weren't interested in drilling up shitty fucking Venezuelan crude. So we said, what if we sweetened the pot and paid you to do it? What if we not only did regime change for you, we also fucking funneled taxpayer dollars to you as well? Dude, our country's gonna collapse within a decade, man. Are you fucking, this is fucking insane. This is what, like, this is making the Iraq war look like the pinnacle of financial restraint, you know? An entire, like, decade-long, more than a decade-long period of every fucking pencil the Department of Defense purchased being like $17 or whatever. It's nothing compared to this. We're going to be hyper bankrupt. We're going to have to cart around the $1 billion bills in wheelbarrows to take them to our fireplaces to burn it for warmth in the winter.
To get the oil flowing the way it should.
Yeah, look at Marco Rubio's face. Look at his fucking face, dog.
Companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Mr. President.
No answer to the question, by the way. Like, he basically just implied that ExxonMobil is going to run Venezuela. He was asked who's running Venezuela, and he said, yeah, we're going to pay oil companies to go there.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground.
Did he just fucking shrug?
So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it, but we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot, and we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody.
The oil companies. You're referring to the oil companies. Okay, let's put on our thinking caps for a second. The fact that he's not giving any specific information means that he has very little information to work off of, okay? Because he's a fucking blabbermouth, right? My guess, the fact that he isn't naming Maria here, Maria Corchado, means that she might not even be part of this plan. It seems more likely to me that she is powerless and they've cut a deal with the brass over in Venezuela to secure Maduro's extradition in exchange for some kind of agreement with them. And the reason he doesn't want to acknowledge that publicly is because he hasn't been told that. And the reason he hasn't been told that is because it would look bad if we said, yeah, we replaced Maduro with one of his narco generals, you know? Like, the plan here is probably really ramshackle, and they're not filling him in on all of it, because if they did, he would just say it.
It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you explain the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Oh, okay.
What's the group you mentioned that would run Venezuela?
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, you know, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world.
The weave.
And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be.
To be clear, there is no mechanism by which the American government can run Venezuela. It doesn't matter what agreement we've made with any Venezuelan general or whatever. There is no accountability mechanism that would allow the White House to directly control Venezuela. We don't have the trust or the connections. We don't have the resources. We don't have the mechanisms for ensuring they comply with our requests. We have at best, like, yeah, basically colonized them. Like, we have forced their brass into subservience, but I doubt that means we're directly in charge. They've probably made a promise to, like, a very ambitious underling of Maduro. They've charged his wife and his son, so neither of them are like the next ones up. I don't know if they're talking about the VP or some cartel leader. Yeah, it's like a vassalage, basically.
We're not going to take a chance at one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Mr. President.
Imagine being a Venezuelan expat and being like, this will make things better in my home country. Imagine looking at this and thinking things are about to improve.
Rubio would be...
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly.
What?
Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation.
Oh, okay. He's referring to the VP. I forgot. The VP of Venezuela is a woman. I thought he was referring to Maria for a second. I thought he was saying Corchado was picked by Maduro and just got sworn. I was okay. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot women could be VPs too. Maybe I'm a bad person.
With her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, so Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President,
did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We call members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, But it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
If I could add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. We had a lot of ships out there. They sort of knew we were coming. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakage.
Mr. President, you were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know what a safe place is, all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was
How was there not even a firefight? There was a firefight. It's just it's U.S. Special Forces. Our guys are pretty competent, you know. The average Venezuelan presidential bodyguard is literally probably just a favored fucking capo of one of the cartel lords. Like, where the degree of corruption and incompetence in the Venezuelan government is there's just no comparison, right?
To get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
So where's Maduro going
to be?
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact whereabouts?
Well, eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards. Did that weigh on your decision making?
Well, that's when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me,
I'm built different.
Perfect track record of
you forgot
winning.
I'm him.
We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East.
New York Mamdani can do the funniest thing. Are you suggesting Mamdani use the New York City Police Department to storm a federal detention center in the Southern District of New York and liberate Maduro and send him off? No, I'm afraid that the municipal government of New York does not, in fact, have authority over the federal court system that just happens to be located in the Southern District of New York. As funny as that would be.
We weren't successful with Midnight Hammer. You wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
Mr. President, can you? How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want the Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted.
Their oil
it's
infrastructure,
actually very dangerous. It's blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and drugs?
In terms of China and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to sell.
There's just no effort being put into any other possible. Are the Venezuelan people watching this? Do they see how we're talking about this? Again, we're not. This isn't about the oil. We have oil here. It's not about the oil.
In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what oil companies want right now. A higher volume of oil on the market to lower the price further. Yeah, that's what every oil company wants, is for us to do more of what OPEC has been doing, like driving the price down. That's no, it's genius. Why wouldn't they want to do that?
So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now. But I would say...
I'm not sure if you guys understand. This is about the oil. I just want to make sure nobody... allow me now for the 17th time in the same fucking press conference to reiterate, in case anyone is not understanding what this is about.
Any more will come.
Are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that...
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course,
thank you for your oil.
Population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was. In terms, I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
They're going to be a team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, you know, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay, and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
So, Mr. President, what's being done to protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans
Well, right now they're very
last
protected
night?
because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago.
And what can you
okay,
say
wait,
about
behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation.
Rubio's getting a chub.
Very badly failing nation.
He's getting
and
another chub.
The people it's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems that Venezuelans have is
it's like fucking Avengers, dog. Oh yeah, we just took down Thanos, but double Thanos is right around or Loki or whatever the fuck. However, the power scaling. No. Cuba was pulling the strings the entire time. You see, Maduro had Cuban bodyguards. It couldn't be because Cuba and Venezuela are both united in that they're nominally socialist and oppose the American regime, and it couldn't be the fact that many dictators have historically had foreign bodyguards because it makes it more difficult for local powers to convince them to turn against the person who bought them. But no, it's got to be some Thanos shit,
they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least.
Holy shit. Cuba, you got to get nukes now. You need to... Is it too late to complete the Cuban Missile Crisis transfer? Russia, can you, like really quickly send a few over? Before we have time to get a blockade going?
Cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's an
The answer is yes.
Mr. President,
is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't.
Dude, she's getting left out. She's getting iced. That's so fucking funny. She dedicates her entire life to facilitating U.S. regime change so she can be a good fucking slave to the new establishment, and then it finally happens. We orchestrate regime change, and she's nowhere to be found.
Mr. President, on Monday...
I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the
Get fucked!
respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial. So it's not going to cost us anything.
So the U.S. isn't going to dedicate money to...
Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies.
Do economists have a technical term for double bankrupt? Does anyone, is there what happens here? He didn't say no. I can't believe it, man. His approval ratings are already in the toilet, and he's just straight up like, yeah, I think we're doing nation building again. We'll be there for a couple of years. Don't worry, we'll also be reimbursing oil companies. There are no economists anymore. They all killed themselves. That's fair.
All over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be. It's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. Do
you think the admin does all this on the weekend to ensure Trump does not just trigger the big recession while the markets are open? Yes, absolutely, 100%. They did this Friday night to keep the oil futures from fluctuating like crazy. No, it's for insider trading. That too. It is for market reasons. It is for financial reasons. They did this on a Friday night.
It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year, is going to be a great thing, and the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Mr. President, on Monday,
U.S. military. Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well, I don't want to get into the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
Mr. President, can you explain, you said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted on many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Mr. President, you referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of...
I think I could convince Donald Trump to give Maduro a pardon. Give him like a week to forget everything that's happened today. I feel like I could convince him.
And this up. Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that country?
No, we're going to have...
He has already said he does not mind boots on the ground, and he has already been asked, what if we're there for years? To which his answer was, well, what if we are?
Presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America.
I feel like, I could be wrong on this, but I feel like the British fucking Raj probably put more effort into pretending that they were doing something for the Indian people than this. Like, the fucking candidness with which we're saying, like, yeah, we're there to take their shit, basically, and we're going to make lots of money from it, which we're not, by the way, but, oh my God.
In the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in which case I'll go one more. It's about who?
It's about Putin, if you want.
About Putin? Well,
okay.
That's always nice.
You had a
to talk
phone.
about Putin.
You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then,
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with.
What the fuck?
Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people.
There was that intelligence.
I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours, and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace. So I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not. And they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month, 30,000, it was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings.
Yeah, but
that
are
come
you
from
mad
two
at him
places
right
that
now?
are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities, you know, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general, and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long.
First day at standing school.
That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much.
Are you concerned a rogue Venezuelan general can take over the country?
Can you talk about your conversation with the vice president?
And all of this happened at Mar-a-Lago. Well, this is maybe the most insane thing that has ever happened. I don't know. We're the president of peace. Everyone agrees the Iraq war was a bad idea. Also, we're doing regime change. It's entirely for the oil. No pretense. We're doing nation building. We're going to run the country. Yeah, okay. Sure. Okay. All right. It really is end time stuff. Dying empire stuff. How is MAGA taking this? It's keys jangling. You know they love it. Yes, we have a statement from Hakeem Jeffries, one in which he essentially condones the behavior of the Trump administration. The only thing Hakeem Jeffries has a problem with, as I predicted, is that he and the rest of Congress were not keyed in on this illegal kidnapping. The Trump administration has not sought congressional authorization for the use of military force and failed to properly notify Congress in advance. The statement opens with Nicolas Maduro is a criminal and authoritarian dictator who's oppressed the people of Venezuela for years. He is not the legitimate head of the government. So, yeah. That fucking bum Jeffries. I could have told you he would have done this. The Washington Post editorial board has come out in favor of the Venezuelan operation. Yeah, of course. They all will. The entire media class will. Everyone. All of them will. For the exact same reason they did the same thing with the Iraq war. This is the EU president's statement on what just happened, right? Left is on Russia. Ursula von der Leyen. Following closely the situation in Venezuela, we stand by the people of Venezuela and support a peaceful and democratic transition. Yeah. Everyone will bow to us. There will be no meaningful opposition. Everyone is cucked all the time. Yeah, here's the article from half a month ago, which is also 2 weeks ago. on how oil companies aren't even interested in Venezuelan oil. What else do I have in the tabs list before we look at new things? This dumb bitch getting iced out from the transition is so fucking funny. Like this, she sold her soul out to the American empire and it got nothing for it.
And this is amazing, super exciting for me. We will open Venezuela for foreign investment. I am talking about a $1.7 trillion opportunity, not only in oil and gas, which is huge, and you know that the opportunities, because we will open all upstream, middle stream, downstream to all companies, but also in mining, in gold, in infrastructure, power. We have our grid right now has a 17 gigawatt opportunity of energy potential that needs to be rehabbed. Certainly for technology and AI and tourism. You know,
she looks demonic. They all are. They're all demons. It's one ruling class, and they're all demons, and that's why they look like that. That's why she looks like Erica Kirk.
Venezuela has 2,800 kilometers of pristine Caribbean coastline ready to be developed. So this is going to be huge. We will bring rule of law. We will open markets. We will have security for foreign investment and a transparent, massive privatization program that is waiting for you.
It's never been this open, man. I cannot think of. We've never cared so less. It's so fitting, like in the spirit of overwhelming nihilism, where everyone's strategy for the future is give up more performatively than anyone has ever given up before, right? Like, sure, the White House Twitter accounts will just post open Nazi propaganda 24/7, like unambiguous Nazi propaganda. Why not, right? Like, who cares? No one cares. There are no consequences for anything.